Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my dear children. Today we have a very interesting question. A very clever young girl asked, is it possible to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream? Well, yes, it is possible to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream, even though we have never met him. Even though we came into this world after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has left it, and we have never seen what he looks like, but it is possible to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream. But however, if someone says that they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a dream, there can be two possibilities. Number one is that he could be lying, someone could be lying, and they could be telling the truth. However, if they are lying, this is a very big sin. It's a very big sin that has to be punished on the day of judgment. The punishment is on the day of judgment as well as hellfire, because they have combined two big sins. One is lying about a dream is a very big sin, and lying about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a bigger sin. It's a very big sin. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if someone lies about me, they can take their place in hellfire. So it's a very serious thing. Now, in case they are telling the truth, there could be two possibilities once again. The dream could be clear and the dream could be unclear. If the dream is unclear, then of course we are not sure if they really truly saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or not, and that dream cannot be really taken very seriously. It could be a good dream, they could be feeling good after the dream, so they can be happy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed them a good dream. But it doesn't mean that they actually really saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their dream. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever sees me in a dream will see me when he's awake. The shaitan cannot imitate me. What does that mean? That if they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam clearly, there is no doubt they're telling the truth. They actually saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their dream. That's a very good dream, and that means they're going to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of judgment and will meet him, and that's a very good sign. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam can only be seen in a dream if it fulfills two conditions. There are two conditions that have to be met if you actually really saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the first condition is the one that they saw in the dream must match the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as he is described. We did not see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We were not born in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there are no pictures of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, it is not allowed to draw any pictures or any images of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam either. So what do we have? We do have a description, a very clear description of him in books. The Sahabas described him in detail, what he looks like. If what that person saw matches the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means that the person they saw in the dream was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the shaitan cannot pretend to be Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whenever in the time of the scholars, back in the day, the scholars who met the Sahabas, whenever they saw a dream and they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their dream, they would come and tell the scholars, and scholars would say, describe him to us, describe who you saw in the dream. And if the description met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would say, yeah, that this was him. And if the description did not meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for example, if someone saw a man wearing jeans and t-shirt, if they saw someone with a long white beard and someone with long white hair, someone who's white or someone who's black, someone who's very tall, any description like a bodybuilder, or they saw someone who's does not match the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it's very clear that who they saw was not actually Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And shaitan may appear in someone's dream and pretend to be Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it would be in another image. It would be someone who does not look like him at all. The second condition is that the person who they saw in the dream cannot be saying something that goes against the Quran and Sunnah, and they cannot be giving a new ruling in Islam, because our deen has been completed in the life of Rasulullah. Our deen is completed. So if someone is saying happy birthday to you in your dream, or someone saying you can take off your hijab, or someone saying don't listen to your parents, something that goes against Islam, if someone is saying that in your dream, then that means this is the shaitan. This cannot be Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or someone is giving you a new kind of ibadah, someone saying read this surah every day, or pray like this from now on, or someone is saying something in Islam which is something which is not in Islam, they're giving you a new rule, then this is not Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not send a new rule in Islam through other people's dreams. So what the scholars have said, that it is possible for shaitan to come to a person in his dream and claim that he is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam if he comes in a form other than the way which Allah formed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if it's another face, another man, another person, the shaitan can claim to be Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in another form. And if a person sees Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he tells him something that goes against the meaning of Quran or Sunnah, or tells him something which cannot be proven, then they should not act upon it. They should not do it just because they had a dream about it. So if someone sees Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their dream, what kind of a dream is that? It is definitely a good dream if it is proven that they really saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he looked like his descriptions, if he did not say anything that goes against Islam. It is definitely a good dream. But just because someone sees Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in their dream does not necessarily mean that they are guaranteed to go to Jannah, or that it is a sign that they are a very, very a religious person, or that Allah is pleased with them. Seeing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is still a good thing, but what is more important is that you should follow the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if someone sees the Prophet in their dream, that the Prophet was angry with them or turning away from them, that's not necessarily a good dream. And that the most important thing that you should remember is to believe in the rules of Islam, and to believe in the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to follow the Quran and the Sunnah, and to follow his examples, and send lots and lots of salutations on him. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad.